Welcome to Authentic Space Podcast with Kasha and Co, who live their lives unapologetically. Okay, so I feel like I came back from 3 weeks of holidays and it's just like back to freaking madness. But like madness, like it's like high season or something in like the work I do. It's been a constant um flow of things to do at work, which is like becoming like I was telling Manny today, I'm like getting a profession, like getting to be a professional procrastinator. Like I should probably add it as a skill on my CV, because I've got so much shit to do
Hmm.
that by the time I'm like done with half of my to-do list, it's already doubled because like it's insane. And it's just and I cannot deal with this shit anymore, guys. Like it's
Well,
just
it's funny you say that. It's been for me. It's the past 2 weeks, and also being on vacation and then coming back, and it's just the piling up that has happened. It's just been insane, and it's not only work, right? For me, it's like I feel like it's life in general, but I think the last few months, like I've been feeling busy and I've been very productive and I've been doing a lot. Some weeks were harder, some weeks were not as bad. But but again, it's sometimes it's just been feeling like just when it cannot get any busier, all of a sudden it gets busier. And I think, yeah, I think back to your point, yeah, I'm kind of feeling the same where it just feels to be just too much.
it's too much. And also I feel like I was saying, like I'm becoming an official procrastinator, but I am
I
also
love it.
like I'm also like playing with fire. So it's kind of like let me explain how it feels like, right? So I've got like 15 things, right? And they're magically all due the same day because it's like, oh yeah, let me just do it, like have it done before the end of the week so that I can relax, over the weekend and whatnot. And I'm like, yay, the weekend, I'm gonna do nothing, I'm just gonna be like reading in bed or something, whatever. And so I am procrastinating to such a level that I become irresponsible almost. And
Hmm.
so then I end up doing 15 things within like 2 days and like staying up until like 2 a.m. and then waking up at like 5 and getting like literally like 3 or 4 hours of sleep so that I just can get everything done. And I'm sorry, but this is not sustainable. I can't do this anymore. I cannot, do all nighters anymore. This is just not possible. I'm too old for this shit. I'm so fucking done with it.
Now I remember when I sent you a message the other day and you were up
Yeah.
to like 1 or 2 in the morning, and I sent you something and you
Yeah.
responded. I'm like, wait, is that a ghost? And I'm like, babe, are you up? Like what? I seriously, I was like confused because I was going through an exhausting week too, and I'm like, wait, what just happened? I don't really understand. And then you said you're still working. I'm like, oh, okay, it's not me.
And it's
Okay.
like you can't even like blame it on mercury being in the microwave, right? So it's like
Microwave.
it's not the stupid microwave of the mercury, whatever. And and
You mean
it's
the retrograde?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, that thing. Whatever. So it's not even just about that, the microwave is off, like we can't even use that excuse. Let's be real,
Yeah,
it's just too much,
it's
too
just been
much
a lot.
on. Yeah, and I, what I feel as well, it's like I am the worst at taking my own advice.
I think we're all guilty of that, though.
Oh my god, it's super bad. Like I was just telling Ben today where I had a moment where we were in the kitchen, it was like 2:30 or something p.m. and I try not to drink more than one cup of coffee. Well, not cup of coffee. Cup of coffee doesn't exist in my language. It's espresso.
A cup of
But
espresso.
espresso, tazzina di espresso. And so I'm like, I usually only have one in the morning, and then but now Ben is taking me to the bad path and is making me have it in the afternoon because it's just nice, to just hang out in the kitchen, whatever. Because we work from home, right? So we don't have the interaction with people, which thank God, but sometimes, you just want to
So
just
the
hang
two
out,
of you
right?
just meet afternoon for a
Yeah,
coffee in the break room.
exactly. Also known as the kitchen.
Also known as the kitchen.
Yes. And so we were just like there. And then I was like, I, because as I said, the levels of procrastination have just reached levels that are unseen for me. Um, because I'm a planner. I'm a
To your
planner.
point though, when you mentioned earlier, like, when you're doing so many things, it just it naturally it becomes natural where you cannot be good at anything you do, and things just fall through the cracks.
Exactly, exactly. And I haven't got to that point yet, but I know that I am getting there. So I need to just kind of like, okay, no, stop. Because as I said, I am a planner.
Yeah.
I am a planner and I'm a smart planner too. So I'm just kind of like, okay, today I'm going to dedicate this time to do this and then do this and do that. And the deadline is here and there. Like, I love doing this shit,
Hmm.
on every aspect in my life, be it traveling or, like activities and things like that. It's just my thing. And not to like the extreme level where I just go nuts with it, but it just makes my life easier. But my head is just at the point where there's just so much to do and the deadlines aren't so this like on different days that I cannot keep track of everything, and I'm almost working against myself, meaning that I'm not writing down when I'm supposed to be doing what in order to respect the deadline, that then everything just ends up being on the same day and then I'm fucked completely. But then I was telling Ben, because I've been reading about this and I've been hearing about it a lot lately, about a AHDH,
ADHD.
ADHD, thanks, and how there's just a lot of adults that are being diagnosed at a later stage of their lives, because one of the symptoms of it is the procrastination and not being able to like pay attention, and like a lot of different symptoms that I'm like facing right now. And I'm like, fuck, like what if I have it or something like that. And then Ben made a comment about some people just use the a
ADHD.
ADHD like meds to like work extra and stuff, even if they don't have the disease, which is, to me, it's like, just
Well,
what the
and I
fuck.
think with any psychological mental conditions, there's diagnosis, and it's an actual mental condition that some people have it, and then there's people that they'll just take a label and just like, oh yeah, I have it, and they take it to the extreme, and then they just kind of go the wrong path.
Yeah, but the meds, he was telling me that people just take it even if they don't have that thing, and I was like, what the heck? And it's to just like overperform. And in my mind, I'm like, yeah, I don't want that.
I think these days, yeah, there's a lot of people actually using any different substances, whether it's medication or some more kind of natural things that they take, where
Hmm.
it just anything to kind of give them the level, the higher energy levels, the productivity. And I also feel I kind of blame this on COVID, that things have changed since COVID. On an energetic level, I think we're just kind of more aware of what our priorities are, what we
Yeah,
value, what we
yeah,
want to put up with, and what we don't want to put up with. It's just I feel like a lot of I remember when COVID was kind of coming to an end, a lot of people like, okay, finally back to normal. But
yeah.
to me, it's like there is no normal.
No, 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 no,
We're
that's the
we're
thing.
evolving, and we're kind of stepping into something else, and a different future that we have to adapt to. We have to, with the adaptation stages, we have to know, and we have to give ourselves the time and the patience to kind of see how we can adapt to it. That does not mean that we should be working the same way we always worked, or we worked prior to COVID.
But it's almost like companies actually started, I've had this conversation with a lot of people. It's like people understand, workers understand that things are not the same anymore, and people are not willing to do the same as they used to, because as you say, there has been a change. But I'm seeing companies that are just like, yeah, we're gonna go back to what it like, they haven't learned anything.
Well, and because I think we are going through transition stages. Everyone is on their own level, and I think So when you're talking about companies, especially larger corporations, who talk about going back to the way things were, they're struggling to hire more than ever
Yes.
before,
Yes. Yes.
because people are no longer like, we're aware of it, and some of us are still like, okay, let me try to make it work the way I used to. I'll get used to it. I'll kind of figure it out. And then there's more people burning out. There's more anxiety than ever before. That's why there's all these kind of substances that people try to you kind of take advantage of to help themselves to cope and to really be able to kind of sustain based on how much these companies are expecting of them.
Yes.
But I think again, it's just we're never going to be where we have been before. And I
Totally.
think slowly companies, again, they're slowly going to notice this, but it starts with us saying, this is more than I can handle.
We talked about this in one of the previous episodes where it's just like the cup is completely empty. I've got nothing to give. And it bothers me because I'm such a creative person and I need to put all my stuff into different baskets and whatnot because that's just the
You
person
need
I
to have
am.
variety, yes.
Yes. And if I don't get that, I stop being creative and then I get locked into like some sort of, like a corporate whatever
Mindset and
mentality.
yeah.
Yes, which is like what I'm saying. I'm like the worst at taking my own advice because this is what I keep on telling people, asking me for like advice on business and whatnot.
It's easy for us to see things right in front of our eyes, but it's always harder for us to
Yes.
acknowledge that this is also happening to us. So it's always nice. It's always we know how to judge certain things that are outside of us. We know how to see it. We know how to observe it, and we can kind of make a conclusion based on what we see in front of us.
Yes. You don't get the same like perspective that you get when you look at someone else's life or experience or something like that, right?
Of course.
It's that's what it is. And so I actually went to this like kind of initial meeting with this new provider whatever the other day, and I found myself where they were asking me. It was an interesting conversation because I've said it many times. One of the things that changed for me when I became a freelancer is the way I put myself or talk about myself in like what in the corporate world are called interviews,
Hmm.
but that I call clients
Yep.
meetings. It's a different mindset, right? Like you're like employing me for my services, but I'm not going to be an employee. Like I'm going to be an external service provider.
You're actually a business entity meeting with another business entity to see how your service can
Exactly.
fit their needs. That's basically what it comes down to, right? So the whole conversation just kind of has its own different meaning to it when you go to it, right? Versus if your mindset, if you were an employee and you had that mindset and you went to an interview, right? It's just a different kind of mindset, and based on that, I'm sure the conversation is also different too, right?
The conversation is completely different, yes. And I found myself doing this like most recent conversation, and we were just kind of talking about it. And I was telling the person that was in front of me, I was like, this is what I can do. This is what I've been doing. I really enjoy doing this. I really enjoy doing that. But it boils down to the fact that I am a creative and I do not work well in too strict, too fixed corporate settings.
Hmm.
And mind, I'm like talking to a corporation.
Yeah.
I'm literally talking to a corporation. And she kind of like smiled at me because I think she understands what I mean. And she also knows that it's going to be interesting to work with me because they have this corporate mindset, but I come in with a completely different mindset. And I think they kind of understand that that could be interesting. It could be kind of like a change, but we'll see, I
I mean, they,
guess.
they look at you as a catalyst, right? And then certain organizations, established organizations, large corporations, certain ones, they know how to handle that, while others, I kind of seeing it a bit more of as a threat, right? Because again, it's going to be a catalyst such as yourself is going to throw them out of their comfort zone, right?
Yes, which is maybe what they're looking for this specific project. So we'll see what happens. But just to go back to the whole thing, of like not being able to concentrate and just like being responsible with my deadlines and stuff, where I'm usually very respectful of my deadlines because it's just how it works. I kind of came to the realization that I manage like last week's deadlines, and then I have like 2 days, Saturday, Sunday, where I'm literally like spending the time to like read and literally like do nothing. And then it's again today, it's like Monday again. And I'm like, what the heck? I I emptied my cup so much that 2 days over the weekend is just not enough,
Yeah.
right? It's just not enough. And unfortunately, I've started realizing that this has an impact on friends and people, to which like I'm kind of telling people, like everyone is asking me, oh, let's go out for dinner, oh, let's go do this, let's go do that. And I'm like, I'm sorry, but I can't. It's not because I don't want to see you, it's just I cannot. I do not have the energy or the strength. I do not have the mental capacity and the mental space. And there's like one particular friend that told me, she was like, I really need like to just go through stuff and with you because, whatever. And I'm like, look, I love you so super much, but I do not have the mental capacity of doing that right now. And she said, no, just don't worry about it, like just whenever you're ready. And that is something that I found out I absolutely love and respect in a person, that it's kind of become my measure of people, which is it sounds like very like I'm very selective, but I feel that with age and with having like I'm in
Hmm.
a moment of my life where my life is full of things and I really do not have the mental space or mental capacity, that it's something that I treasure in a person, the capability or the ability to understand that I love you. I'm going to be here for you. But right now, I can't. Like, I just,
Well, and that's exactly the measure of a healthy relationship, right? And healthy people in your life, because someone like that, they're empathetic and they understand that it's not always about the other person, right? They understand that you have to go through,
yeah,
you're going through
yeah,
certain things, and they understand that sometimes it's just right now I love you, but I need to do me right now. And so people that have healthy patterns in their life, and there really are healthy relationships, they will understand that, right? Just like I think we talked about healthy relationships in prior episodes, where in healthy relationships there is that room, right? Room to grow, room to support each other, room to understand, room to have compassion and empathy towards another being's
yeah,
time and energies, right? And like you said, even about the whole half cup, full or empty, it's
yeah,
and I know we also talked about this as well, but it's so important to know how our energies work and how much energy we have,
totally,
right? Because there's people that can take a lot more, right, than maybe you throughout the week, and that's not good or bad. It's just knowing how much energy you have to give.
totally,
And then at the same note, how long does it take you to refill those energies and get that reset? For some people, it might literally just be, I'll go to sleep, I get a good night's sleep, I get up and I have the energy to go.
I'll tell you, like, the older I'm getting, the more time it takes me to recover. I was just telling you before like hitting record. I was like, the last 2 3 weeks, every Saturday morning I wake up and I have the biggest headache because it's literally my body just releasing all the stress of the week, all the overwhelm of the week, etc. And that's just like not healthy, because then it means it takes me like extra time to recuperate over the weekend. And like Saturdays I have all these plans of like, oh, I'm gonna quilt, oh, I'm gonna sew, oh, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, and I end up doing shit. I end up staying in bed with like a cold pack on my head because, an ibuprofen, because there's just nothing else I can do, because I cannot look at the light. It's, which is insane, and I'm sick of it. I'm just like, I'm over with this. I'm sick of it.
But I'm sorry, it's with so much going on in the world today. So many distractions. Everyone wants everything from us. Everyone just wants you to have an expectation for you, right? Whether it's a job, whether it's I don't know, it's sometimes friends, and I even mean the healthy ones, right? Sometimes, even sometimes the conversation or a phone conversation, or even me responding to a long text, all of that takes energy, right? So with so much going on, and us shifting, I think the times are shifting, the energies are shifting. We're more aware of how much we can give and how much we're just not able to offer. But yet the expectations and the requirements from life, just daily life, right? um, are still so heavy. And then there's the technology, and then
Oh my
like
god,
I
yeah.
feel like even when I'm, sitting down to do some work, by the time I get my computer started, because there's an issue with, with the recording or something, it everything takes an extra level.
But I also think it adds like complexity. It add complexity, like stuff that is supposed to just make your life easier. It's actually adding complexity to your day, like the stupid exchanges and stuff.
No, I agree with you. I think the complexity, and I think it's also the fact that, as we're stepping into more of the Aquarius era, everything is more about technology, right? So the technology and the intelligence is all happening on the brain level. It's not happening on our heart level. And we're stepping into, there's so much information. There's an overload and an oversaturation of information, of technology, of the skills that we need to constantly keep updated with, and learn, and get familiar with, anywhere, right? It's not just a computer or a phone. It's also going to the store, and all of a sudden everything is self checkout, and you have to, it's all having your brain or putting your brain to work. And it's just, I think that's one of the issues that actually a lot of even astrologers, psychologists talk about, where as we're stepping into this era, there's going to be so much of it. And the technology, I mean, it takes overnight, and the
Yeah,
technology just literally just expands into the whole, a whole nother level. But we don't want to completely drown or delve into the technology component of it,
totally.
because that way we're going to forget our hearts, how we're feeling, our bodies, right? Like, our bodies are not technology. They're not robots. We're not able to turn on a switch and be like, okay, refreshed. We need time, right? So we need to not forget that there's the nature component of it that we so deeply need, as human beings, animals, plants, what have you. We cannot just be on a computer all day. We have to go outside and ground and be
Totally.
surrounded by energies. We have to learn how to have that balance, because otherwise there's going to be more and more of us going through burnout. But if you think about it, the burnout is most likely happening because of an like overproductive or overdone brain and intelligence.
And I think that this, like, if you just like step back to like you look at your life, right? And it's like you're an adult and you have work, you have responsibilities, you have to pay rent or a mortgage, or because we're like over 30, so obviously the responsibilities kind of like change, right?
Yeah, there's partners, there's pets that will live with us, there's, some people have children. There's just so much of it, right?
And I see that like we went to a birthday party of one of the kids of our friends like last weekend or something like that, and I do see that the discussions have like really changed. And it's like the responsibilities, and there's the school, and then there's this and there's that and whatever and this and that, and then in my mind I look at all of these things that are in my life, and of course, we don't have kids, but we only have a pet, fine. But we have an apartment, and we have bills to pay, and we want to buy a house, and there's the car, and then there is the dentist appointment and the doctor's appointment, and then you want to do sport because yeah, you want to do sports. So it's like, oh yeah, I want to go for a walk, I want to go for a run. Oh, let's start doing yoga together, and then oh, we gotta go food shopping, and then let's go to that museum, or let's go watch that movie that just came out and stuff. And then where is everything else that you really just want to do, right? So I
Yeah.
want to go and just sit on the grass for like 5 hours without having to do anything, right? And
Hmm.
that made me kind of understand that I am becoming way more like jealous of my own energy and how it's spent. that there are like, especially I'm seeing this with people, um I just don't have the energy nor the will or the time to spend with this, that, or whatever. And I'm okay with it.
Yeah, whether it's a whether it's people that are not respecting our values or our boundaries, right, or are just not healthy for us, or if
Yeah.
it's, even if it's, work related stuff where you just feel like it's almost like it's becoming no longer, or not worth it, not worth the
No.
paycheck, right, for
No.
the slaving around, quote unquote, that they have you do.
But just like people, people,
Yeah,
people don't understand that. It's like, I'm sorry, but this conversation is a waste of time. I've had this
yeah.
conversation with a friend recently where it's like there are people that just do not have the same emotional depth that you have. And I do not want to waste my time trying to explain something to someone that cannot reach my level. I'm sorry, this is going to sound like I am super like full of myself, but when it comes to emotional depth, yes, I am full of myself. Yes, I know I can reach certain depths that not a lot of people can. And you don't deserve to have access. Some people don't deserve to have access to that sort of depth. Not just because, not just only because they don't deserve it, but also because they don't understand it. They
They will
cannot
never
meet me.
understand it.
No.
Yeah.
And I have become so jealous of my time and the time that I spend. Like, if I look around in my life, and I said this multiple times, the people that are in my life, actively in my life right now, are all people that are capable to meet me at a certain level of emotional depth. Otherwise,
Yeah.
goodbye. I don't have time for this. I don't have time for this shit. I've got so much time, so much stuff to do in my life, so many things I need to take care of, that when I am with someone, as you always say, I do not have an interest in having a superficial conversation. I am done with that, and it's a waste of
I
time.
think I do kind of like that this comes with age too. I think when we're younger, at least that was for me the experience where I was a bit more of, I hate to say a people pleaser, but just about a little bit more about someone else's energies than mine. I think with age, it's becoming more prominent to me, and I'm becoming more aware of what is it that I need.
Well, you're also becoming more aware of your worth. I think that's also makes
My
a difference.
worth, my need, my values, right? But also, again, what we've been kind of talking about today, the energy levels. I know how much I have of
Yeah.
it, right? And then, so it just kind of, with age, you become more aware of it. And it's just, I love the feeling of, at least I'm kind of stepping into the kind of the stage of life where I'm almost like, I don't need to explain myself to anyone. I don't care if you understand me. I
Yeah.
don't care if you, I don't care about it. I don't care if you're wrong. I don't care if this was never said by me. I just don't have the energy to explain
No.
myself.
No.
I don't have the energy to put up with this. I don't need to be here. I have nothing to prove to you or to
There you
anyone
go.
else.
Yes.
The most important thing right now is how I feel.
Yes. And you said it right. You said it right. I feel like I was the same. It's like I feel like I still have the remnants of the people pleasing. I think it's something that depends on how we were brought up and with the social constructs that we were brought up with. It's like a lot of us.
Now, do you think it's that, or do you think it's more of an evolution into being more empathetic and
No, I
compassionate?
think that there are a lot of I've a lot of in our like age, in our generation, there are a lot of people pleasers. Regardless of the more or less empathetic, I think it's a structure that was imposed on us while we were growing up. It is stronger in more empathetic people for sure, but
Hmm.
I really believe that this is a like an illness of our time, meaning our time as millennials, whatever. But I think that you get to a point where the people pleasing and the imposter syndrome, because that's another illness of our um generation,
Generation.
yes, I think those two, you get to a point where you really get close to yourself and you just like understand this thing about energy. And it's like, at a certain point, I do not give a shit about what you think. Like, I don't think, and I
Mhm.
mean, not, not you, but I mean, in general, people that are not like at my same depth, or they don't have an understanding of where I'm coming from, or don't understand
If you're just not aligned with, right?
exactly,
Because we all kind of vibrate on different levels,
exactly.
and there's, every level is where you need to be. It's just, you can't be everyone's cup of tea,
No, and
right?
that's the thing. And that's exactly the realization that you
And
come
also
to.
us, yeah, us kind of realizing that and being okay with it, accepting it, and as a result also accepting ourselves for being where we are, right? It's
That's exactly where the turning point, what, like, I think of like 10 years ago, having this conversation and thinking, oh my God, what is this person gonna think if I don't do this and this and that? And right now I'm like, I don't give a shit. I don't care. I'm sorry, but you don't have like you don't have that power over me anymore, because I am so jealous of where I put my time and energy these days, because there's just so little left after everything that I have to take care of as an adult. There's just so much, like, there's not enough left. And so
yeah,
it's kind of the same. I love that metaphor that I always say about the cup. It's like, it can be a cup, it can be, like, imagine you have to like water your own plant or someone else's plant. If there's no water in the jug, there's no water. Neither, not
yeah.
for me, not for you. So what are we gonna do? We're just gonna have to wait for the rain and for the water to come back. Like, I mean, come on. Like, it's just it's scientific, right? So, and the older you get, the more precious that becomes.
Yeah, I think, yeah, and that's why I mentioned the whole COVID thing. I think for a lot of us, a lot more of us, doesn't matter what age you are, because obviously age does its thing, right? With maturity and experience, there comes kind of more awareness, hopefully,
You would hope
in
so.
most
In most
cases.
cases, yes.
Uh,
We should always make
yeah,
that distinction, because it's not the same for everyone. But
absolutely.
okay.
But also I think again the COVID times that kind of have been changing it more on a deeper level, energetic level, right? And people that are just a bit more again aware, and they're realize what's happening. There's people that want to go back to normal that just don't have an idea that something has changed, or they don't feel it, they don't realize it. So I think with that it's just I do like that a lot more of us kind of realize what our values are, what our priorities are, because that's what really is important for us to be able to determine whether this person is, whether I'm going to allow this person to enter my life and have a conversation with me, or a
Let's
relationship
just say
or
it how
not.
it is. Is this person worth my time? Because to me, it comes down to exactly that. Do I want to invest in this relationship?
Yeah. Do I value spending the time,
Yes,
in this, right?
exactly. Do I
Yeah.
value this? Is this the person for me? Is this someone that, you know, is really going to make a change in my life for the better? Because if it's not, it's okay. But
Yeah, I don't want to make it sound like this is just about people, because this is also about the work that we're
yes,
doing. It's also, our daily life, everything that we need to do. How can I make this more convenient to me? How can I make this more in tune with the energies that I want to have, and the balance that I want to create? So it's about every aspect in life, right?
yes,
People are just such a huge component. I think people and work, right,
the
those
main,
kind of take the majority
yes,
of our time. But we are social creatures, so it's kind of normal that that's happening.
absolutely.
Stay tuned for more and join our community at AuthenticSpacePodcast.com and on Instagram at AuthenticSpacePodcast.